Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for jumping on with us tonight. There's a whole bunch of us up in the North Country freezing our tushes off. The last I checked, the temperature was 24 below zero, and it feels like, because of the wind chill, 35 below, which actually is warmer than it was earlier today. So pretty stinking cold. So that's probably why you see some of us bundled up. But anyways, we're so glad that you've joined us tonight, and we are going to jump right into it. We're going to respect your time. And first, I'm going to introduce my friend Angie. She is a mama to 3 kiddos. She lives over in Wisconsin. She likes the Green Bay Packers. Don't let that, discredit her at all, though. And she is mama to Maddie, who's 5, Lily, who's 3.5, and
Everett.
Is it Everett? Yes.
Yep.
And he's 2. Yep. So she is a busy mama, and she stays home with them. She works part-time and does this Plexus thing. So, Ange, I'm going to have you jump right in and tell us how Plexus has changed your life.
Sounds great. You see my husband back there. That's okay. So, actually, I started Plexus. He's trying to hide. I started Plexus for my kiddos. So that was really the reason that I had joined and jumped all in with Plexus. What I was looking for them was a clean multivitamin, and especially a probiotic. So my oldest daughter, who is 5, when she was 3, was diagnosed with sensory processing disorder, which is, if you don't know, is on the autism spectrum. And so before her diagnosis, and especially after, I really threw myself into research for different ways that we could help her, especially holistic ways, not necessarily medication ways. So we were looking at different occupational therapy, things that we could do at home, different diet changes, and then I started to learn a lot about the gut-brain connection, and that there's a nerve that actually talks from your gut to your brain and helps, or it has a big impact on kids that are on the spectrum. And so I really started looking for this probiotic, and I have this amazing friend who was posting about Plexus on Facebook, and we have one of those relationships where we only talk about every 3 months, but when we do, we talk for hours and hours. And I spent one of those conversations in tears. I spent a lot of time talking about how difficult of a time Maddie was having, how hard it had been with Corey and I trying to help her and figure out what she needed, and then just like how exhausted I was and how terrible I was feeling. And so she really recommended Plexus, and I tried it for a little bit, but it really wasn't my time. And so then when I started looking for this multivitamin, it was right around the time that the X Factor Kids came out in January, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is my time for Plexus. I'm going to get them this multivitamin. And so in February, we go to an annual craft weekend. And I hid from my husband that I was signing up for Plexus that weekend, but I went there with that intent. And so I talked to her, and she said, as your friend, I love that you're doing this for your kids and that you're looking out for Maddie, but you have to put your oxygen mask on first. Like, you can't take care of them if you're not feeling your best as well. So she's like, you have to get the triplex too and take care of yourself. So I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of money. So I'm going to have to do this thing. Like, I'm going to have to do Plexus. And I jumped all in. So you might hear some people say when they talk about their stories, like, oh, I plan to use that 60-day money-back guarantee, and I knew it was never going to work, and I was never going to share it on Facebook. That was not me. I was like, these products are amazing. I trust my friend. I know they're going to help, and in order to keep my family on these products, I'm going to share my butt off about these amazing products. And so that's what I did, and that's what I've done, and it's been completely amazing. So for me, really early on, I started to notice I was a chocoholic. I loved me some chocolate, and that craving went away very quickly. I had found myself drinking 2 cups of coffee a day, and I honestly don't even like coffee, so I didn't understand how that happened. But that really went away. I was drinking Mountain Dew to make it through a night shift, and I haven't had Mountain Dew anymore. I needed naps every single day, or I was turning into this crazy bear. We'll say bear to keep it politically correct, or PG. But it was bad. Like, I had to have a nap, or I was just crabby. But the biggest thing was every day I was waking up with a headache, and I was one of those people where I was like, "Oh, I just need some caffeine. Just get some caffeine." But the truth is, your body doesn't need caffeine, and my body didn't need it either. So very quickly that went away. I started having amazing sleep. And the same thing was for Maddie. We noticed some changes pretty quickly for Maddie as well. One of the big symptoms a lot of kids on the spectrum deal with is bowel issues. And so she was not going to the bathroom regularly. And so after starting her on the X Factor Kids, we also have our kids on the ProBio 5, and then she takes the magnesium as well. She started going to the bathroom regularly, which relieved a bunch of her aggravation. I mean, if you're not going to the bathroom every day, how uncomfortable are you? So she started feeling better. She was sleeping better. It helped her mood. And then she has a lot of food aversions because of texture and taste. And so it was really reassuring to me to know that she was getting the vitamins that she needed from that X Factor Kids. And then 3 months in, Corey was kind of like, I know you're doing something, and whatever this stuff that you keep drinking is, because I still hadn't really told him all of everything I was doing. I'm sure he saw it on Facebook, of course, but he's like, so when do I get to start? So he started around May, and he very quickly noticed some of the same things. The biggest for him was he was drinking 2 Monsters along with a lot of Mountain Dew every single day, and he hasn't had a Monster since May, which I think is amazing, especially for somebody who has heart attack that runs in his family. So sleep is better, anxiety for him was better, and everything just kept getting better. And so I just kept sharing. I added our X Factor Plus vitamin. My hair started to get thicker. My nails stopped peeling. My mood was even better. My acne is better. My joints were better. I was having chronic sinus infections, and those were gone. I've only had one since starting back in February. And the biggest thing, too, for me was I deal with PCOS, which is a hormone imbalance. And all of my life, I've had these very, very painful, very heavy, very irregular cycles. And that is so much better for me. The mood swings that happen for me every 2 weeks, those are better. It's not as heavy. I don't double over in pain. I'm not living off of Tylenol and ibuprofen. The bonus side has been the weight loss. That's not what I went into Plexus for. I went in for it for my kids. I went in it to get healthy and be a good mama for them. But after 6 months of consistently taking these products, I found myself down 23 pounds. And that was really just from getting healthy, just from cleaning up my gut. I was taking my products consistently, right? Drinking more water. I now drink almost a gallon of water a day, which is crazy because I never drank water before. I was not that person. I make healthier choices naturally. I have better portion control. And so, 6 months in, I was like, 25 pounds down, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I actually put some effort into the weight loss side of things? I've been over 200 pounds, almost 250 pounds at my heaviest for the majority of my life. And I was like, what if I could be under 200 pounds? So I tried working out. I still kind of stink at it. I don't do it every day like I should. And then they've added some new products. I've added in lean every once in a while. I have a lean shake. We've done this MetaBurn for a couple weeks, and altogether that has just restarted my metabolism, kind of bumped things back into gear. And so now I'm down another 12 pounds. So altogether in almost a year, I'm down 35 pounds. which is an awesome bonus from everything else. And I just want to say, though, that I love that, and I love that that's what people see and are so proud for me. And trust me, it feels good. It feels good to be down a few pant sizes and not shop in the plus size section. But what I really wish people could see is how I feel. I know people notice my smile, and my chipper personality is back. My outgoing personality is back. But I really wish people could how I feel as far as the headaches and stuff. So that is why I will never stop Plexus. That is why I share. It has made such a difference for my entire family, all three of my kiddos, my husband, and me. And so I just want that for everybody. And I want to end just by saying that you cannot change your life. And this is a quote I heard it from Bob Heilig. He heard it from somebody else, I think. But you can't change your life until you change your habits. And I had tried so hard my whole life to do it on my own, and I couldn't. I just couldn't stick with it until I found Plexus, and it got me healthy. It cleaned up my gut. I changed my habits. It's completely changed my life. And I am so happy that I went for it. So I've gotten my life back, and I hope everybody can take something away from this, because it can help everybody in every area.
Awesome. I love that. My sister Joanna commented on here, and she said, it's an outside reflection of what's happening on the inside. And so that's probably one of my most favorite things, is like when we start cleaning up the inside, things that we didn't even think about happening or weren't even sure could happen start to happen on the outside. And that's so fun. I love it. Okay, so next, because she's over on the East Coast, we're going to have Miss Melanie Thompson share her story. She is a mama to 2 kiddos. Her husband is in the Army, and he is stationed at Fort Benning along with my sister and her family. So that's how I've gotten to know Melanie, is through my sister Alicia down there, who's waving. So she has 2 kids. Braylon is 10 and Hunter is 3. And we're just super excited to hear about how Plexus has changed things for you. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey guys. So my story actually starts a year ago in January, probably the end of January. So within the last few days was when I signed up for Plexus with Alicia. And the way that I found out about it was being Alicia's son's Dominic's Sunday school teacher, and then becoming friends with Alicia on Facebook. And I really didn't know about her. I didn't know about Plexus at all. I'd never heard of it. And so she made a post about Dominic and pooping. And I was like, wait, what is this magic stuff you have? Because much like Angie, my son, Hunter, who's 3, has an autism diagnosis. And as Angie was saying, my son has issues going to the bathroom. So I was like, okay, I need to find out more, but I'm still kind of skeptical about it. So I just asked for information, and she provided a plethora of information and research to back up her claims. And I finally decided to sit down with her in person and have a conversation, because I just wanted to know more about how I could help Hunter. I didn't really think about myself. And so she sat me down and we went through it, and she started talking about anxiety and all that. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe this can help me too. So I decided to try it out. And we got Hunter on the Pro Bio 5 to start out with. And he's been on that fairly consistently for the last year as well. The changes that we saw with Hunter were pretty quick. When I had started Plexus, he was verbal, but not very, you couldn't really understand him. He only had a few words, and most of it was grunts among meltdowns, and that was how he communicated. And within a month to 2 months, I started to notice that his speech was improving and his thought process was improving. And so I was just like, this stuff is awesome. And it was just like one day it just clicked that he was getting it. And I have to attribute that to plexus, because before he had a cleaner gut, I don't want to say it's perfectly clean, but a cleaner gut with plexus, it was meltdown city, and it was stressful. So that was a big win in my book. For me, with my plexus journey, I didn't start it for the weight loss. I know they advertise it as slim, but I did it for the anxiety, because I do suffer some major anxiety, and I have to say I haven't had a major anxiety attack since I started plexus last January. So that has been a major win. I've lost some weight. And I started Joyome when that rolled out. So I've been on Joyome since, when did it roll out? May or June? I don't remember. But around May or June when Joyome rolled out, I started that, and my face is a lot clearer. I love Joyome. My family's on plexus. My husband takes plexus with me. We just started Metaburn this month, and I love the product. The energy boost that it gives me, aside from already taking the slim every day, and the triplex system is, I feel like I can go for days. But that's my story. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And I too love Metaburn. Yes. Like, I didn't think that I like really needed more energy, or I didn't really contemplate what that would be like, but I love it. Like, and it's so, like, I feel so focused.
Yes, and I think that's what it is for me too, is the focus that I get from it. Just even at the church, when I'm doing stuff for the church during the week, this week, because I started Metaburn this week after I got it in the mail, and I've gotten so much more done this week than I do on a normal week. It's crazy.
Yes, I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm so happy for your family. I love that. Okay, next, we're going to jump over to the other side of the country. We have Miss Regina. She's over in Arizona, and she's super generous to be on here with us right now, because I'm guessing her kids probably aren't even in bed yet. So thank you for being on here with us. She has 3 kids as well, and they are Savannah, who's 8, Corbin is 6, and Zoe is 4. So look at all these busy mamas you got on here working the plexus business. So Regina, I would love for you to share what you and your family have noticed with plexus.
Definitely. First of all, I'm sending warm sunshine to all of you that are turning into popsicles right now. It's 65 degrees outside, so here you go. Have some sunshine. You're welcome. I know. Okay, so first of all, I'm super excited to be on here. My workday started at 6 o'clock this morning, so I've been home for quite a few hours, and I kept my bra on. That's dedication. That's how excited I was to be here helping y'all. So there are a lot of things that I could talk about with plexus. I could talk about how I started, because I was like dying when I came home from work, and I didn't have the energy to even make it to snuggle time with my kids. I would constantly fall asleep snuggling the first one and not make it to the next 2, but I'm not going to talk about that with you. I could talk about how I used to have chronic shoulder pain in my shoulder from years of playing volleyball and the rotation that came with that, and how that has completely disappeared, but I'm not going to talk about that with you today. I could talk about how I used to have headaches, waking up with them like 3-4 times a week, and how I used to carry Advil in my purse. I had it in my desk at work. I always had it in the car with me, and now I can't even tell you the last time that I had to take Advil, but I'm not going to talk about that either. I could talk to you about the confidence that being a part of plexus has given me. It's amazing. Public speaking has always been the bane of my existence. And since starting plexus, I have done presentations for everybody at work. Oh, by the way, I'm a speech therapist, and I work with these kiddos that Melanie and Angie are talking about. So it makes my heart so happy to hear about these health victories for your kiddos. Thank you for sharing, ladies. Side note. But I'm not going to talk about my getting over my fear of public speaking. I could talk to you about the tribe and the friendships that I've formed with plexus. I came into it not expecting to have that be a part of my life at all. But the ladies that I've developed friendships with all over the country have been truly amazing, but I'm not going to talk to you about that either. I could talk to you about how much I love Metaburn for the increase in my libido. That's been a huge bonus for both myself and my husband. Sarah's agreeing with me there. But I'm not going to talk to you about that either. I could talk to you about how my sugar cravings have totally gone away. I can honestly say that I was addicted to sugar, and it was a huge issue for me. Now I never crave it, and I actually crave like healthy stuff. Like today I was eating veggies in the car on the way home from work, and I was like, this is so weird. Like this is good, and it's making me happy that I'm eating like celery without dipping it in even ranch, just like eating straight veggies. That's unheard of for me, but I'm not going to talk to you about that. I could talk to you about how my skin has improved and how my morning routine has shortened because of the Joyome. I don't wear makeup to work anymore. I never wore a lot, but now I don't even bother with it at all. But I'm not going to talk to you about that today. What I'm here to talk to you about seems to be the theme of the night without even knowing it, but is my daughter Zoe, my youngest one. She's 4 now. When she was 3, she started having horrible, horrible constipation. And if you've ever sat with your screaming child, having to give them an enema and just holding them while they're struggling on the toilet, it's a horrible, horrible experience. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I think I'm probably more traumatized and scarred from it than Zoe is. She's moved on with her life. But so because of her constipation, I'd already been doing triplex for a while, and I was like, we need to do something about this. We tried diet changes. She was eating prunes and prune juice and doing all kinds of other things, and it wasn't making any difference at all. So I said, okay, well, we're going to try triplex with her. So she takes the pink drink every once in a while, but the real things that we're consistent with her are the Probio 5 and the magnesium, the BioCleanse. And it has made just an absolute world of difference to her. I am proud to say that she poops at least twice a day now. All my kids are very regular. They tend to not flush the toilet, so I know that they are very regular, and they like to share their experiences with me so I can verify that they are regular. And really, I joke and complain about not wanting to see and smell what's going on in the toilet, but it's just a constant reminder to me about the way things used to be. And the way that they are now, and the blessing that Plexus has been. So it's blessed me in multiple ways. It's blessed Zoe in multiple ways. It's blessed the other kids too. They ask me if they can have the pink drink. They love it. Excuse me. And with the libido, it's definitely blessing my husband too. So yes, Plexus has been, I would say, an unexpected blessing. I joined just because I needed some energy, and I had to do something. Like, I just couldn't accept that that was going to be my normal. I'm a person that sees a problem, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to figure out how to fix this. And Plexus fixed the energy along with so many other things as well. So that's why I am forever grateful for Plexus, and I will never stop telling people about what it can do for them.
Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh, you had me rolling over here. But I could relate with everything you were saying, right? And we will not go any further than that. Wow. Okay. So next, Kris Williams. She's here in the frozen tundra with me, just about 15 minutes down the road. And she also is a Packers fan. Ooh, look at all of us here. She has 3 kids, but they're not quite the same ages as the rest of the gals that talked tonight. She has Kenny, who's 22. He's married, and they're expecting a baby. She has Katrina, who's 20, and she is married and also expecting a baby. So Kris is about to be a grandma times 2, which is so weird to me because, like, she's so young and fun. Like, yeah, Elisha didn't know. That's so funny. And then, oh, wait, am I not supposed to tell? Oh, shoot. Maybe I'm not. Okay, well, you guys just keep that a secret for me. Okay, Karsten, 18. Moving on. Kris, okay, I'm going to stop talking.
You know. It's fine that you share.
Okay.
I just figured out how to unmute myself finally. No, you're good.
Okay, good job. Good job.
Yeah. Okay,
so I will let you share with us why you love Plexus.
That sounds good. The girls, my daughter-in-law that are pregnant are like 13 and 11 and a half weeks or something. So they're starting to get, like, I can tell people when I talk to them. So I'm just talking to a whole bunch of you at once. So there you go, Alicia. Now you know. I think everybody else that's related to me knows on here. So anyway, I wished I would have had Plexus when I was a young mom, because I was definitely a struggling mom. I drank Coke every day through Karsten, my 18-year-old's pregnancy, which was pretty horrible to say that, but it was like, that's just what I had to do to get through. And I never was a coffee drinker until I was teaching sixth grade a few years ago, and I was like, I got to stop drinking Coke. Obviously, it's bad. Like, I knew that. I knew it was full of sugar, but I needed that caffeine because I just couldn't make it through the day, or even just getting started with my day very well without that caffeine boost. So I started drinking coffee. For 8 months, I drank 2 big cups of coffee every day. Never liked it. Made myself drink it. Was happy that I was getting off of Coke, but ended up getting like acid reflux, and I was like, forget this. And it did not help with the whole bathroom thing that everybody says coffee does. So then that made me cranky about that too. And I kind of felt like all of these like health issues were starting to develop, and I was like looking at my mid-40s going, this is not gonna be good. I'm gonna be a train wreck here soon if things don't improve. Especially thinking about like how long that might be, because as Sarah's talked about, and if you know any of the family history, we have longevity on the Crocker side of the family. My grandma just passed away at 101 a year ago. And so, you know, at 47, like people say like midlife, and I'm thinking, holy crap, am I going to feel crappy for 50 years because, you know, I could live that long. And the thought, I always thought it'd be great to be 100 and be like Grandma Emily, but then I was like, this is going to be terrible. If I just feel like worse and worse for like 50 years, this is going to be horrible. And so that's about the time that Sarah and Alicia and Joanna and Sonia and everybody just got started with Plexus and started talking about it on Facebook. And I was annoyed, like plenty of other, you know, everybody gets to be with our Facebook posts from time to time, but I was also interested and curious. Whoops, what happened? My calculator just popped up. Hang on. So I read a lot of the posts as well. And, you know, I thought, well, I know what to do, you know, diet and exercise. And so I tried some of those things in my own. But like, you know, when you're drinking Coke every day for 17 years, obviously you have a sugar problem, right? And just like, you know, Sarah has said, you know, you have those, just that bad gut bacteria just calling for more sugar. And so it didn't really matter what it was. I mean, it could be my least favorite cookie that I see, you know, if that's like the last thing around, I'd eat it. Or it could be, you know, anything, things I didn't like nuts. It didn't matter. I would find something to eat to somehow satisfy that craving. And so, you know, I'd say jokingly like, oh, just hook me up to a sugar IV and I'd be happy. And I'm thinking now, like, how horrible is that really for a plan? Like, obviously that's a really bad idea. But anyway, so, you know, in my mid-40s, I was just dealing with all kinds of digestive issues were starting. I was worried that I was going to end up being, you know, a type 2 diabetic because of my sugar craving so much. My energy was just super low. I was teaching full time, sixth grade, which, you know, if you think about sixth grade, you need a lot of energy for that. And I'd come home from a, you know, 10-hour work day with, of course, more homework in my bag, and make it through supper and just think like, can I just go to bed now? Like, I'm just spent. I got nothing left for energy. And I had more things to do, and I didn't have the energy for it. And that was just like the teaching world. That wasn't like the rest of my life. And as you heard the ages of my kids, you know, they're at college. They want to come home on a Wednesday night and be up to like 11. And I'd be like annoyed with them. Like, no, you can't be staying up here till 11. I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to bed or I'm like shot. And so it just made life really hard. And it made my kids that are my first priority, it made them not even very enjoyable because I just didn't have the energy to deal with my work and the time that they could come home. Additionally, you know, at 45 or whatever, you're dealing with like premenopausal things. And so that's like another whole thing to deal with. And I had some of those symptoms. I had an occasional like hot flash or something, not too much of that. But what really, a couple things that really annoyed me with the whole premenopausal stuff was like the, you know, time of the month moodiness. Like I'd swear we'd just get in a fight every, you know, month about the week before I get my period. And I'd know, I'd be thinking, well, we're fighting. I'm crazy. Like, what is my problem? I would just like shut my mouth. It would just be better because I know I'm off my rocker. But of course, you know, when you're in the middle of that, you don't. And I'm sure my husband was just like, oh, what is her deal? I drove myself crazy, so I'm sure I drove him crazy too. But the other thing that really drove me nuts, because this wasn't just, you know, once a month, this was like many, many nights of the month, is I would wake up about 3:30 in the morning, you know, to go pee, and then I'd come back to bed, and then I'd be awake for like a good solid hour. And I was just so tired all the time. I needed that hour of sleep. And then I'd finally get to sleep. And then like an hour and a half later, my alarm would go off. And I'd be so flipping mad. Like, you're kidding me. I have to get up already. Like, I didn't get enough sleep. And so it's just this really nasty cycle of just never really feeling energized and ready for the day and equipped for the day, just energy wise. And so that was just really kind of a horrible thing. So finally I did start Plexus, and not being like super clued into my body. It took a while for me to even like notice that it was really helping. And so, you know, when you start having the absence of problems, you just think like, oh, everything's fine, but it's always been fine, right? And then you remember, like, so what happened is I got to Christmas vacation, and I got sloppy. I was out of my routine, which is, you know, I'm kind of a routine gal. So when I get these snow days or Christmas vacation, I get way out of my routine. And so I stopped taking my Slim, and I stopped taking my probiotics, and I stopped taking the Triplex products, the BioCleanse. And then I started realizing, like, just in a few short days, I started having digestion issues again. I started waking up at night again. I started, you know, just all kinds of things. And I'm like, okay, wait, this stuff is working. I am never going to not take it again. Like, that was my convincing moment for sure. Since then, I just have felt like I have so much more energy than I used to. I feel like I have energy for the day, not just, you know, for my work day, but for the day, and I can get other things done. I have time to enjoy with my family. I also feel like, you know, I've been able to share with my family. One of the people that I have shared with is my husband, who has his mom had rheumatoid arthritis, and he's a big guy, and he's done manual labor for a long time, and he has chronic nerve damage in his shoulders and chronic arthritis in his knees. And more than 10 years ago now, he was told in 3 to 5 years he'd need to have double knee replacements. And just, you know, because I kind of don't like surgery, nor does he, and doctors so much, and because of health insurance things and things like that, he just hasn't pursued getting surgery. But a few years ago, he started Triplex, and at first he'd just like have a pink drink, like, oh yeah, I'll have a pink drink today. And I'm like, you know, it's not just like a beverage choice. Like, this is like health wise. Like, you got to do this like health wise. Otherwise, you're just screwing around. And so I told him he was my first guinea pig, and he needed to get serious about Triplex, and he did, thankfully. And shortly into it, a month or two into it, he realized he had like 25% less of his chronic pain on Triplex than he had previously. And he had a lot more energy. He was coming home from working, you know, 60-hour work weeks, and coming home and doing home projects that required him going up and down the stairs and being on his hands and knees, and not stuff he liked to do with the knee and shoulder pain that he's had. But he was putting in really long days and not feeling so awful about it. So that was really cool. Then we, you know, heard about Ease, read about that, and he started using Ease, and he started having, like, he'd say, like, I didn't even think about being in pain this whole week. And for somebody that has chronic pain, that's huge. And so now he, you know, he just doesn't even really think about having knee replacement surgery. And he's just like loving life and enjoying an active life. And so it's pretty cool how Plexus has really changed a lot for him. My last thing, am I taking too long, Sarah? Okay. Maybe one more thing. I wanted to just share about the Joyome. I took some pictures today and compared them to my pictures from June. And one of the things that I had on, I think it was this side of my face, was kind of this, like, I called it a mole in my Facebook post, but I don't even know what you really call it. But the dermatologist had like put the freezer stuff on it, you know, sprayed it, or it, I don't know what she did to it. Anyway, and it had come off, but then it had come back again. And I was just like, this is terrible, that it's back. And I didn't really want to spend a couple more $100 to go see the dermatologist again, to have it, you know, done again, just to be in the cycle of like, well, now it's going to come back or whatever. But anyway, I started using Joium because it's a new product, and I really didn't have a good facial care routine. I just didn't do much besides just like wash my face with like bar soap or something. And so I started doing that. But it's been fun, you know, when you work with kids, as I do. I'm a Title I teacher working with 1st through 5th graders. So you get all kinds of, you know, very honest child opinions that they just say whatever they think. And so I turned, you know, I'm 51 now. I turned 50 a year ago. And so as I'm telling the kids, like, you know, yeah, I'm 51. What? You're 51? No, I didn't think you were that old. And I'm like, well, how old did you think I was? Well, like 40. And I'm like, dang, a whole decade. Like, that's pretty nice, because, you know, they'll just tell you what they think. So that's nice to hear that they think that I look so much younger. And I do. I mean, the Joium is just, I remember so many years, even when I was in my 20s, like in this time of the year with this coldness that we have, whether it's this bad or not, just winter in Minnesota is harsh, the dryness, and just having like scaly, you know, skin around my face, and just feeling like, I just can't get the right balance. Joium just takes care of it, and it's just super easy, you know, 3 pumps in the morning, spread it on, do your thing with makeup or not. I am like Regina, just using less and less makeup and enjoying that. And then, you know, 3 at night before you go to bed. And my husband's like, what's that stuff you have on? It smells so good. And so it's just really super easy and really effective. So I'm loving that too. Plexus just makes great products. So check them all out.
Yes, I totally agree. Love it. And yes, I do think you look a lot younger, and I can't wait to see your pictures. Did you post them?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
today.
I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go look and find them.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if you guys are looking for her, she's Christina Crocker Williams on Facebook. So you can go find her and look at her pictures. So, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I promise you, I did not plan to have those first 3 of you talk about your kids. Like, that was 100%. Ooh, look at, sweet. Joanna's showing it if you can see. But that was 100% God. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that you girls would talk about your kiddos. Like, it just wasn't even on my radar. So thank you for just going with where God was leading you and where your heart was leading you, and talking about what was on your heart. So I really appreciate that. I think your stories are going to help a lot of people. And we recorded this, so we can share this with people we know who are struggling in those areas, and all the other things that were talked about. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to the people who spoke, or the person who invited you, or me. I'm Sarah Tossa on Facebook. You can find me, and we will get the answers to your questions. It might not be immediate, but we will get to the answers for you. So, all right. Someone needed to hear it. Plexus makes a difference. Thank you all for sharing, Joanna says, and I agree. So have an awesome rest of your night. Stay warm. Only like half a day left of this, you guys. Like, it's supposed to warm up tomorrow afternoon, and then Saturday is going to be like 34. It's going to be a heat wave. Like, I bet you, I'm going to a fishing tournament, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to see people in shorts and t-shirts. Like, I'm not even joking you. After cold weather like that, we all get a little nuts with what we wear. Anyways, so have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Great job. Hi, Uncle Jerry.